Hey everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. So a couple of months ago I done a video on my top 10 favorite 4K Blu-ray releases with 2K digital intermediates. And as soon as I done that video, it was always in my head that I wanted to do my top 10 worst looking 4K Blu-rays. And I'm sure someday I will do my top 10 definitive favorite looking 4K releases. That one's just a right pain in the ass trying to put 10 together because there are so many nice ones out there at the moment, and yeah, it's just requires a lot of thinking before I get around to doing that top 10. This top 10 was quite easy to put together, it has to be said. There is some absolute clangers in this, and it really is a shame because nearly every one of the films in here are films that I absolutely adore, and I really wanted them to have great 4K picture. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So let's not waste any time, let's get right to it. Right, so here we go, number 10, and this breaks my heart to put this in here. We've got Gremlins. I wanted this film to be, pristine in 4K. You know, it's one of them films, it just had a poor showing when it comes to physical media. I remember seeing it on DVD, I didn't think much of it. The Blu-ray looked absolutely deplorable. And unfortunately, they haven't fixed it with this release either. The picture is extraordinarily soft, the colours are lifeless in it. It's not, I wouldn't say overly grainy, but it is grainy at times, but it's grainy with a soft look as well, and it just doesn't translate at all well to 4K. And the audio on it as well, it's a DTS 5.1 audio. The audio is very flat and lifeless. So yeah, that is my number 10 pick, Gremlins. Really is a shame. Right, so at number 9 we have got Iron Man. Now, it's weird, the way I'm doing this top 10, I'm sticking to one film per franchise. And with the Marvel franchise, and of course Disney being Disney, there could have been so many Marvel films that I could have put in this top 10. But I ended up picking up probably the worst out of the lot of them, which is Iron Man. It is, of course, it's DNR'd to absolute desh. It's all smoothed out. Its filmic look is now completely gone. It's just not there anymore. The colours are not all that great either. The HDR doesn't add little to nothing to it. And unfortunately, the Dolby Atmos that you do get with this, which I was kind of like, when I heard about it getting released on 4K, and I heard about the reviews it was getting for poor picture quality, I was at least saying to myself, you know what, at least the Atmos might save it. Unfortunately, no. The Atmos is actually kind of lifeless. And yeah, that is my number 9 pick, Iron Man. What a shame. It's such a great movie. Right, so on to number 8, and we have got Suicide Squad. Now, taking away the fact that the film is absolute garbage, the picture quality actually suits the film perfectly. Absolute garbage as well. The HDR is the main culprit for this. Now, the resolution is not all that great to start with. It looks no better than your Blu-ray. But the HDR, whatever it has done with the blacks on this movie, because it is a very dark movie, it seems to brighten up all the blacks where they actually almost look grey. And there is little to no depth to the picture. So this film is, it really is one of them movies where you knock it on and you kind of go, wow, is this actually a 4K or did I knock on a Blu-ray? And funny enough, when I did knock this on first, I did have to check to see that I put the Blu-ray in. And unfortunately it wasn't, it was the 4K. So yeah, that is my number 8 pick, Suicide Squad. Right, up next we have got Jurassic Park 3. Now, Jurassic Park is not all that great in 4K, but Part 3 takes it a step further, which how bad the 4K picture looks. Just look at a lot of the wide shots in this movie. There is little to no depth to the picture. There is no detail, and the picture just looks incredibly soft. Now, if you actually knock on the Blu-ray and you look at these same wide shots, you will notice there's actually better detail on the Blu-ray over this 4K release. Now, I honestly don't know, is it the HDR that's actually causing this softness? I don't know. But the HDR really doesn't add a whole lot when it comes to colours, which is a bit of a shame. Now, you know, the film is not great, but I am a fan of the original trilogy, and they really do. All three of them deserve so much better than this. So unfortunately, yeah, that is going to be my number 7 pick. Right, on to number 6, and apologies for having to bring this box set out. It's so big, but it's the only way it's the only version I have of these movies. So the one I'm going to be sticking in this one, surprise, surprise, is the Phantom Menace. Now, just like the Marvel movies and the Jurassic Park movies, there is actually a few titles in here that I could have stuck in. What's it called? The Last Jedi in particular looked absolutely shocking. So I've opted for the Phantom Menace in this. It is, again, DNR to death. Every bit of fine detail, when you see the textures in this movie, you know, you see sand dunes, all that kind of stuff. Every bit of detail is completely removed. It's all smoothed out. It's just an incredible amount of sharpening added to this picture. The colours look very murky looking. It's just a poor effort. And again, one would question, you know, whether the Phantom Menace deserves a a decent 4K transfer. But look, we're paying good money for these films, and the least that Disney could do is make some sort of effort. But unfortunately for the Phantom Menace, none was made at all. So yes, that is my number 6 pick. Right, so here we go, on to number 5, and this is going to surprise a lot of people just for the simple fact that it's actually at number 5. So we have got T2. Now, I know what you're thinking. They're like, my God, this is number 5. What the hell is under this one? Because this one is seen as the pinnacle of crap when it comes to 4K. Unfortunately, I have found 4 films worse than this in 4K. Now, I don't have to speak too much about this film. Everyone knows what it's like on 4K. It is DNR to death. It's every bit of fine detail has been completely removed. I think James Cameron was trying to cater to the 3D version of it. And that's what we kind of end up getting with this 4K release, just a smoothed out piece of garbage. The only saving grace I can say about this film is at least the HDR colours look half decent. But such a poor effort to such a phenomenal movie. So yeah, that is my number 5 pick. Right, so on to number 4. And I know you're kind of going, what the hell is he going to have in this top 4? This one kills me. This really, really kills me, but I have to put it in here. We've Goodfellas. I was warned when I picked this up on 4K. I was warned by people that this film was terrible on 4K, and you know, I was worrying. You know, I didn't really kind of find out why everyone hated the picture quality. I was a bit worried that it was going to be DNR. It wasn't DNR. It was just a complete and utter lifeless picture. It's very soft, the picture. There is little to no sign of 4K resolution whatsoever in this. The colours are completely lifeless. Black levels, non-existent. And the same with shadow detail. Just nothing there. It is a little to no upgrade over the Blu-ray that we got before this one. And this one is an absolute killer. This film deserves so much better. But unfortunately, this is what we got, and this is what we have to live with. So that is Goodfellas, and that is my number 4 pick. Right, on to number 3, and surprise, surprise for this one, we have got Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Now, I've only just mentioned this film a couple of weeks back, and I was talking about my disgust of the 4K picture on this. I'm not going to spend too much time with it. All I will say is, like I said in that video, everything they accomplished on this 4K disc could have easily been accomplished with a Blu-ray. There is not one element of this movie that looks anyway 4K-ish. The colours are, yeah, relatively lifeless as well. The audio was absolute garbage. It's just a film that does not belong on 4K. It has no business being on 4K, and I do not understand why we got it on 4K. So that is my number 3 pick. That is Henry. Do not waste your time with it. Right, to number 2 we go, and yeah, you must be all scratching your heads now. What's in my top 2? So this one is absolutely deplorable, but I'm happy to report it's going to be fixed very soon. So we have got Dog Soldiers on 4K Blu-ray, and this is a German release. Now, the first thing I will say about this was when I bought it, and I didn't know that about this when I did buy it, but there is no HDR on this set, on this release. So that alone is an absolute killer. But I kind of said to myself, you know what, at least I got the 4K resolution. No, I don't. I really didn't. The first thing you will notice with this is when you knock it on, they didn't even clean the image. It is absolutely riddled in film dirt. The picture is extraordinarily soft. It looks no better than a DVD. Not a Blu-ray, a DVD. I'm not kidding you. The picture looks that soft. Like I said, riddled in dirt. The colours are absolutely lifeless. And that is my number 2 pick. Do not pick this up. Second Sight are bringing it out now very soon, in the next month or two. And I know they're going to fix everything that's wrong with this release, with their release. So hold out for that one. Do not pick up this one. So that's my number 2 pick. Right, so number 1, here we go. And this is going to surprise a lot of people because a lot of people might not know that this is actually available on 4K. So we have got Olympus Is Falling. Now, I done a video on this months and months, actually not months ago, it was around over a year ago. And I tried to warn as many people as I could against this release. Now, I did say in that video that I actually was going to return this collection back. That's how poor they actually looked. But my fiance turned and says, Keith, wouldn't it not be great to have the worst looking 4K disc in your collection? And it kind of got me thinking. I was like, well, maybe she is right. Just so I can actually show people how bad things can get when it comes to 4K. This film, like we talked about DNR a lot in this video, this film has that much digital noise reduction used on it that I am not kidding you. Every element of fine detail is just completely removed. If you actually watch the scene at when the initial attack on the White House, when you actually look at the greenery, it looks like someone just got a paintbrush and just scrubbed green all over it. There is no detail whatsoever. You can't make out one single blade of grass. Every bit of detail, I'm not kidding you folks, it's almost like you need to see it just to believe how bad this looks. Facial details, they all look like mannequins. It is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen. We had it on for a half an hour. I could not take it anymore. I had to knock on the Blu-ray. That's how poor it actually looks. And trust me, the trilogy is out for this. It's on Amazon Germany. Do not pick this trilogy up. The second one comes actually quite close to this one, but there is a few minor improvements on it. But this is, yeah, hands down the worst thing you can ever see on 4K. So stay away. So that is Olympus Is Falling, and that is my top 10, folks. So that is it, folks. That is it. So as per usual, if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you could leave a comment down below. And please share your thoughts on some of these movies that I showed off as well. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.